opportunities.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take a look at this very unique and quite rare vehicle, the 1999 Shelby Series 1. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth view of the Shelby Series 1. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior, as well as exterior. And I'd like to give a big thanks and special shout out to RK Motors, located in Charlotte, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film this awesome 1999 Shelby Series 1. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. It's a silver exterior with a two-tone gray and black leather interior. What's also pretty neat about the Shelby Series 1 is the fact that, well, many Shelby vehicles have been built through Ford Motor Company, but the Series 1 was actually built with a lot of parts from GM, including its engine, but more on that a little bit later. Very powerful startup. The Shelby Series 1 is quite a unique vehicle. It doesn't have any airbags in it, built solely for performance purposes. Leather wrapped steering wheel with a little bit of perforations coming up across the sides. And it does have power steering, nice and stiff. The only transmission available was a 6-speed manual gearbox, nice and crisp. And then all the way over and down for reverse, all in a leather wrapped shift boot. Park and brake located to the left of the driver. And we'll go ahead and count the headlamps, as well as the fog lamps, and the hazards. It does have a driver's side automatic window. And we'll go ahead and check out the exterior, shall we? The late great Carroll Shelby has created some of the most memorable performance vehicles in automotive history during his long and illustrious career. Every now and then, even a small-scale automaker decides to go out on the limb and create something new, something that makes not only a statement for the company's abilities, but the passion of those who designed and built it. That being said, the Shelby Series 1 is probably one of the most historic vehicles that the company had ever produced, limited to just 500 units sold through 25 select dealerships. While in many regards, the original Shelby Cobra and Cobra 427s of the 1960s were legendary in their own right. The Series 1 was the first vehicle that was completely designed in-house from the ground up by Carroll Shelby's personal company, Shelby American. And it's not meant to be a reinvention of the classic Cobra, but a model all its own. Rather than borrowing platforms and creating standout models from current production vehicles, the Series 1 shares no parts with another car. Aside from some GM parts-bin accessories for ease of use and simplicity, the car was designed for one purpose and one purpose only: the racetrack. Shelby's dream was to create a perfect two-seat road car that blended performance, a lightweight construction, and what he claimed was one of the most technologically advanced designs at the time. Wheels are custom designed 3-piece Speedline alloys that only weigh about 25 pounds each. They're 18 by 10 inches in front, 18 by 12 in the rear, wrapped in Goodyear Eagle F1 high-performance tires measuring 265/40 in front and 315/40 in the rear. Brakes are large, internally ventilated discs measuring 13 inches in front, with 2 piston calipers and 12 inches in the rear with single piston calipers, all bringing the vehicle to a stop from 60 miles an hour and around 129 feet. And now with the suspension it gets a little bit technical. Since the Aurora V8 is mounted as a traditional rear-wheel drive V8 rather than the transverse setup in the standard front-wheel drive cars, the car required custom engine mounts. The engine then sits atop of a custom motor plate that attaches directly to the frame, compartmentalized by a shear plate at the front of the engine to help keep the structure stiff and increases the safety in the event of a crash. All of the front suspension components then mount directly to the motor plate via isolated rubber bearings to reduce road noise and vibration. It's an all-aluminum, independent coilover suspension with two-way adjustable, push rod and rocker operated, Multimatic F1 style gas shocks with upper and lower A-arms. The chassis is so stiff that while a small anti-roll bar mounts to the front, it wasn't necessary for the rear. The rear design is essentially the same as the front, only with larger cross members and a cradle for the transaxle. The color is actually an Oldsmobile color that was originally formulated for Oldsmobile's 100th year anniversary called Centennial Silver. The car's aluminum frame by itself only weighs 260 pounds and is built with a combination of boxed, extruded aluminum tubes that all welded together form bulkheads, central tunnels, and a near flat floor, all in an effort to give it great integrity and torsional rigidity. All in all, the Series 1 has about twice the rigidity as many sports cars, measured at 52 Hz when 25 to 27 Hz is considered excellent. The body is composed of a combination of carbon fiber and fiberglass to try to keep costs down and weighs just 135 pounds by itself. A manual soft top weighs 25 pounds that is stored behind the tonneau cover that also houses a small 3 cubic feet of storage. Bright LED lights give a modern look to the back, while the twin Borla exhausts give off a raspy V8 note. Overall length is 169 inches with a width of 76.5 inches and a height of 47 inches. Curb weight is 2,650 pounds with a perfect weight distribution between the front and the rear at 50-50. And we're going to pop the hood. The Series 1 is powered by a highly modified version of Oldsmobile's baby North Star, if you will, a 4-liter dual overhead cam 32-valve V8. Shelby chose the engine because he thought it was the domestic engine that featured the highest amount of technology at the time and made a pretty good power to weight ratio for the time. Rather than adding a supercharger or other form of forced induction, Shelby engineers added new camshafts, upgraded the computer, a free-flowing carbon fiber exhaust manifold, headers, high-flow catalyst, and the dual Borla exhaust so 2¼ inch pipes. This boosted the stock 250 horsepower to 320 at 6,500 RPM and 290 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. 0 to 60 times are an average of 4.4 seconds with a 12-second quarter mile and top speed of around 170 miles an hour. Fuel economy, with a 20-gallon tank on premium gas, is expected to be in the neighborhood of around 16 city, 27 highway. If you're familiar with a typical 90s car from GM, it pretty much sums up the basic design of the interior for the Series 1. Uniquely designed and built for this application, there's not a whole lot of excess frills, but it does come with the air conditioning, a monsoon sound system, as well as a couple other just convenience goodies. Coming in across the door panels, a layer of soft touch padding comes across all corners, lower speakers for your monsoon sound system, lock and unlock, power windows, power mirrors, all pretty simple. The seats are unique, full manual leather buckets with a heavy amount of side bolstering for increased lateral grip and Carroll Shelby's signature embroidered on the back of the seats. The seat design is very much race inspired and definitely gives quite a unique look to the interior. They're nice and soft and reasonably supportive. And there isn't any storage space in it, just a tonneau cover covering up the rear. Unique embroidered floor mats, as well as a tilt steering wheel. The dash is also lined in the same soft padded trim as you find on the doors. So let's go and see how she sounds. It's an amazing, potent sound. Go ahead and shut her up. The Series 1 came standard with an AM/FM monsoon audio system with in-dash CD player. Garage home link located on the visor here. Not to mention an auto-dimming rear view mirror with reading lamps down below and integrated compass. Climate control is also quite simple. Analog controls, different zones, front defrost, heated mirrors, temperature, as well as fan speed. And little pod style vents up top. Coming down the center console, 2 speakers mounted up front, as well as a little modest center console with 2 12-volt power outlets. Easy to read gauges. Very reminiscent to a more Camaro style instrumentation cluster. The vehicle only has 441 miles on it. Definitely a collector. But as far as the main gist of the interior, that's about it. Just your basic creature comforts. Go ahead and shut her down. Fantastic automobile. Manually adjusting passenger seat as well. And it does not have a glove box. Like I said earlier, being solely designed just for performance and driving rather than practicality. The Series 1 is a wonderful representation of Shelby's passion for performance. A unique car that represents a man's dream come to reality, and a car that will continue to live on in memory of Carroll Shelby's great automotive legacy. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed this in-depth look at the very rare 1999 Shelby Series 1. Be sure to stay tuned next time. There's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.